Hello friends, it's Lisa and welcome to a very exciting video. So this video is going to be a reading vlog dedicated to reading A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir. So the reason I'm not holding the book up and showing you the book right now is because I actually don't have it yet. I asked for the book for Christmas. It is currently the 21st of December, and if I don't get it for Christmas, I will just buy it after, but I'm hoping to receive it from Santa this Friday. And I have a feeling, because I've been waiting for this book basically since the beginning of the month, 21 whole days. It's been rough around here. But because I've been waiting, I feel like I'm gonna want to start it as soon as possible. Like I might start it on Christmas or even just the day after Christmas. So I just wanted to intro this vlog now so that I can just jump right into the book whenever I end up receiving it. So very quickly, before we get into any predictions that I might have for Sky Beyond the Storm, if you have not read this final book in the series or An Ember in the Ashes in general, you probably should add this to your watch later and come back once you've read the series, because I'm definitely going to be talking about spoilers. This is the final book in the series, so I am going to be talking about spoilers for the entire series. So yeah, definitely click off and come back once you have read the series. I highly recommend reading it. It's so good. One of my favorite series I've ever read, so definitely recommend reading it and then coming back to this video once you've completed the fourth and final book. But yeah, there's going to be spoilers, so there is your warning. But other than that, I thought before I start reading the book, we could talk about some of my predictions. I don't really have many because I have no idea where the story is going to go. I just have predictions on who's going to die, which we all know people are going to die because Sabaa Tahir likes to put us through pain. To be honest, I feel like no character is really safe. I feel like she could kill literally anybody off and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm going to be surprised regardless of what happens, but I also feel like nobody is really that safe. The only character that I'm like somewhat confident that she maybe won't kill them is Laya. I don't see her killing Laya off, but you never know. I might be setting a false sense of security thinking that she wouldn't kill her, and now she's going to kill her, and then I'll be suffering. Helene, I think might be okay. I don't know. I mean, I don't think she's going to be okay mentally, but I don't think she's going to die. I feel like Helene has had such an interesting character arc, and she has been such an interesting character to follow. Like, I love Laya and Elias so much, but Helene's character and her story is just so interesting, and I don't know, I find it to be like the most interesting character arc, if that makes sense, even though I love Laya and Elias so much. And I don't dislike Helene now. I used to really dislike her at the beginning of the series, but I feel like the more things that she goes through, the more it's just like, okay, like I can't hate you because you're just going through it. So I definitely think that she's a very interesting character. I don't necessarily love her, but I'm super interested to see where her story goes. And I don't think she'll be killed off, but you never know. I think Harper is in trouble. I don't think he's going to make it out of the fourth book, which is really unfortunate because I want him and Helene to get together and to be happy, but I don't know if these characters can be happy because Sabaa Tahir is the one writing about them. And I also have bad vibes for Elias, which is concerning because I love him so much. I think it's just because every time I have a favorite character, they end up dying. So naturally, I assume he's going to end up dying. But I think because of where Elias is right now, like he technically did die already. He just became the next soul catcher. Is that what it's called? So he technically did die. And I just feel like the way it's going to end is he's going to be like set free from that. But because he died before that, he's going to die. Like he's going to be like dead, like for real dead. Which, I don't like that idea. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he gets out of everything that he is involved in and he gets to live and him and Laya can have, that house, that cottage that they keep talking about with little kids running around because it's what they deserve. But I don't think that's going to happen. And it's fine. I'm literally starting to tear up just thinking about it. So this isn't going to go well for me when I'm actually reading the book. So yeah, I feel like Laya and Helene might be okay. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really feel like anybody's safe, but I feel like they might be okay. Harper and Elias, I feel like, are in danger. I also feel like Laya's brother, Darin, I don't know if that's Darin. I don't remember how Sabaa Tahir pronounces it, but I don't think he's going to make it either. I feel like something's going to happen with him because the whole series kind of started with Laya looking for him. Like the whole series kind of started with him. So there's definitely going to be like a full circle moment, I think, but I don't know if he's going to end up making it out alive. But other than that, I really have no predictions. Like I have no idea like what's going to end up happening with Helene's sister and the new heir to the throne. Like what's going to go on with that? The baby? I don't know. Are they going to be okay? Probably not. I'm just assuming the worst, and so that when I read the book, I'm not as emotionally destroyed, but I have a feeling I'm not going to be okay. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly intro this vlog because I know as soon as A Sky Beyond the Storm is in my possession, I'm going to want to start it, so I figured starting the video before I even have a chance to pick it up and I can get in my predictions and everything was a good idea. So next time you see me, I will be starting A Sky Beyond the Storm, and I'm stressed. Oof. I look like a mess. My room is a mess. It's a day after Christmas. This is how it's supposed to be. Also, if I am in this for every single clip of this vlog, mind your business. It's basically like a Snuggie, but like upgraded in like hoodie form, and it goes down like past my knees. It's great. So not only did Santa bring me this, which is very exciting, he also brought me something else, and that is A Sky Beyond the Storm. I'm so excited, but also so stressed. So yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm officially starting Sky Beyond the Storm. I think I'm gonna go downstairs and sit on our couch, get cozy in my cozy, very warm blanket snuggie hoodie thing. My cat is crying. Hello? I'm gonna go downstairs and hang out with my cat, read A Sky Beyond the Storm, and probably lose my mind. What a time. I'm already crying on page 10. Not good. Okay, hello. It is a little bit later. I have not read that much today. Like I said, it is the day after Christmas, so I've just been kind of chilling and zoning out basically all day because I'm just like not with the program. You can probably tell by my appearance. But like I said, I haven't read that much. Also, look at my little bookmark. It's a little Loch Ness monster. Its name is Nessie, and I immediately opened it and did the, the Twilight quote. You named my daughter after the Loch Ness monster, and my whole family just ignored me. Or they didn't hear me. I was just in my own little bubble having a great time. But I'm up to... Oh, and the bookmark fell out, but I'm up to page 17. I'm on chapter 3, so I'm doing well. But I did want to say a couple of things. One, I am annotating this book. I annotated the second and third book in this series because I love it so much, so I wanted to do that. But what I ended up doing was I changed my system for annotating just for this book. So these are the colors that I have, and normally I use orange for funny moments, but instead I've decided to do it as stressed or shocking moments, things that make me feel overwhelmed, because there's a lot of shocking and stressful moments in this series, and I think having it as funny worked like a little bit before because Elias cracks me up, but like I don't think he's gonna be cracking me up in this book. So I just decided to change it. So I have pink as things I love, moments I love, quotes I love, anything like that. Like I said, orange is stressed or shocking moments. I have it written down, that's why I'm looking down here. Yellow is any information or like foreshadowing that might be happening, like anything that I might think is important later on. I also changed green to angry moments. I used to have blue as just like angry or sad moments, just any negative feeling, but I decided to differentiate between angry and upsetting moments because I have a feeling I'm gonna have both of those feelings reading this book, and I'm gonna want to know the difference. So green is angry and blue is sad. So I feel like I'm gonna run out of blue tabs. Also, I've already cried, so that's good. Laya talking about Elias hurt my feelings. There's been a couple of moments, page 10. This is when I cried earlier. Musa is talking about his estranged wife. He's the one that's married to the princess of that guy. I don't know. I'm going to get very confused on names, but if you've read the series, I think you know what I'm talking about. But he says, estranged wife, Musa says, a reminder that once they adored each other, no longer, a bitter ending to what they hoped was a lifelong love. It is a feeling I know well. And then she goes on talking about Elias, and I'm upset about it. And then a couple pages later, page 14, she's talking about like how she wants to make a home where she is, like how she could envision like her home there, with, a husband and like her brother teasing her about it and just like this vision of what her future could be. And then she says, I try to hold that image in my head, but I do not want Marin, which I don't know if I'm saying that right, and I think that's the place that they are in. And then she continues on to think, I want sand and stories and a clear night sky. I want to stare up into pale gray eyes filled with love and that edge of wickedness I ache for. I want to know what he said to me and said I don't think I'm saying that right, a year and a half ago when we danced at the Moon Festival in Serra. I want Elias Veturius back. Also, don't know if I'm saying his last name. Veturius? The way I don't know how to pronounce anything, I need to look up videos. I looked up a video of her, Sabatier, pronouncing Darin. I still don't know. I look it up and I don't know. Darin, I think, is Laya's brother's name. I looked that up, so I need to look up everything else. But yeah, Laya causing me pain out here. It's fine. And I'm only up to page 17. So that's good. That's good. I'm doing well. I'm not going to be okay by the end of this book. I know it. Day 3 of me being in this comfy, cozy blanket sweatshirt. I wasn't kidding when I said I wasn't taking it off. I'm gonna laugh if this entire Sky Beyond the Storm vlog is just me in this. But listen, it's cozy and I need comfort right now because this book is putting me through it. So last night I ended up getting up to part 2, which is like 100 pages in, and I'm feeling a lot of feelings. It's kind of funny when you look at my tabs, it's mostly pink, but also blue tabs, which are very conflicting emotions, which I think just shows how much Sabatier is putting me through it with this book, because blue is like sad moments, but pink are things that I love and moments that I love, so like, I'm suffering, basically. But basically I just realized the writing is like pink. Or like purple. It's like a rose gold color. That's very exciting. Anyways, but basically kind of towards the end of part 1, the characters are all in the waiting place, which is where Elias, or the soul catcher, is. That's where he lives. That's where he passes on, goes to the other side. So they kind of run into Elias, and I think it was just really like hard to read because they all were expecting him to act like himself, but he wasn't. Like Helene was just so sad and just was expecting him to like turn around and act like himself and smile and tell funny stories, and it was just not who he is anymore. And then Laya having like no hope that Elias is going to come back to him as Elias. It's devastating. It hurts my feelings. But where part 1 like really ended was all the characters being split up again. So Helene and some of them are going off in one direction, but Laya has decided to stay back and try and get Elias to kind of come back to himself. And I'm just really emotional about it because I feel like, especially in the second and third books, when characters have been split up in this series, Laya and Elias have been the ones that have been split up. Like, they've obviously had moments together, but a lot of times when the characters go off in their own directions, they're the two that are going off in different directions. So the fact that they are actually going to be the ones that stay together this time, but Elias isn't really himself, is just so painful. Like, I don't know what to do. So I'm going through it. That's basically all I really have to update you on, is that I'm going through it. I've teared up quite a few times, especially with the chapters with Elias as the soul catcher, kind of reuniting with Helene and Laya and all of them and not really acting like himself. There were so many moments that got me teary-eyed last night when I was reading it. But yeah, I'm just suffering. Basically, that's the update. But yeah, like I said, I'm 100 pages in. I'm about to start part 2. I think right now I'm going to actually film my 2021 bullet journal setup video, and then I'm going to spend the rest of the day reading this. So I would like to get a decent amount of the way through this book later today, but I'll check in. I'm sure I'll still be suffering just as much when I check in the next time. Alright, it is time for an update. I really want to finish this book before the end of the year, and it is currently the 29th. And after this, I would like to read 2 more things because then it's just a nice, even number. It will be 70 books that I've read in the year, so I need to get going. But since I have last updated, I'm now on page 190, so I'm almost 200 pages in. And right now, basically, Ferris, is that how you say his name? He just recently was killed. Him and Helene were like in the middle of this attack, and in order for Helene to kind of survive and get away, he kind of sacrificed himself to kind of be a distraction and so that she could get away. But I'm still sad. And also Laya and Elias, which first of all, let's discuss the clown hours over here. Basically, the groups were split up, and I was so excited because Laya and Elias were actually going to be the ones that were together. A lot of times throughout this book, throughout this series, when groups split up, they are separated. So I was excited that they were going to be together. But that didn't last very long. But where I left off last night, I can't believe I left off on like this cliffhanger. Where I left off last night, they basically, like, Laya was being held by the Nightbringer. The Nightbringer had her and was like threatening to kill her because Elias is like not himself. He is now the soul catcher, so he's not acting normal. So the Nightbringer's like threatening him, saying he's gonna kill her and all this stuff. And last night, I was suffering because where I ended off last night, we're basically in the soul catcher's, Elias's point of view, and Laya is being held by the Nightbringer and he's threatening to kill her. And Elias says, "Walk away, soul catcher." I tell myself, look at the djinn behind the Nightbringer. Figure out what he's doing. Save the spirits from whatever Sky's awful fate he's inflicting upon them. Walk away. But for a moment, just a moment, the wrathful, imprisoned part of me, the old me, breaks free. I cannot walk away. I literally wrote a sticky note that just says, screams. Do people write insightful things when they annotate? Because that's basically all I'm able to write down is just screams. So like, Elias, is he there? Is he coming back? What's the tea? What's going on? I'm stressed. So yeah, I read like a couple pages this morning with my coffee, but I definitely want to continue on today. I really want to get a good chunk of the way through today. I know I said that yesterday, but I mean it for real this time today. I'm about like a third of the way through the book, maybe a little bit more. So I'd like to get like 2/3 of the way through the book today. If not, finish it. I don't know if I could read how many pages, 300 pages in a day, but it's possible. I could do it. So yeah, I'm going to finish editing the video that I'm currently working on, and then I'm going to spend the rest of the day reading this book and probably suffering. Alright friends, we're finally in the somewhat of the final stretch of Sky, but before I talk about any of my feelings on this, first I feel like you would all appreciate these bookmarks. So these came from my friend Armin. She sent me a Christmas card, which first of all, look at how cute. She used a stamp and the stamp fell off, so I'm like, do I just keep the stamp? I don't know. And then she also wrote not only the sweetest message, but her writing on the inside is perfect. Like, I'm overwhelmed. She also wrote like my address and her address so nicely, but obviously I can't show that because then you'll know where we live, and that's not good. It was just so nice, so thank you, Armin, if you're watching this, which I feel like you will be. But she also sent me some bookmarks, which are Ember in the Ashes themed, and one just fell. There's 2 for Sky, and I'm too scared to read the quotes on them because I haven't finished yet, so I'll wait. But the Ember in the Ashes one says, "Fear is only your enemy if you allow it to be." The Torch Against the Night one says, "So long as you fight the darkness, you stand in the light." And then this one, Reaper at the Gates, says, "Hope is stronger than fear, it is stronger than hate." And they're just so cute, so I want to use one. But like I said, I'm too scared to read the quotes on the Sky ones because I don't want to be spoiled or stressed by not understanding what it's talking about. So which one do I want to use? I think I'm going to use the Ember one for now. So that is very exciting and very fitting for this video. But anyways, let's talk about Sky. That's what we're here for. So a lot has kind of happened since I last updated. I think I've read like another 100 or so pages since I've last updated you guys, I think. So I'm on to page 309. So I think I have like 200 pages left. Very concerned about what's going to happen in those 200 pages. But last night I filmed my reaction to something because I could tell that it was getting stressful. So I just started recording, and basically what happened was they were in a battle and Helene thought Harper died. Like, he went down and didn't come back up, so she assumed that he died. And I don't know if I said this at the beginning. I think I said at the beginning that I assumed he was going to die, like that was a prediction. So I was like, oh, we're halfway through this book and she's killing him off now. Not good. So then I started crying because I thought he died, and then he like popped right back up and was like, "Just kidding, I'm fine." So then I was just a mess. And then a couple pages later, Helene was like, yeah, I love him. So then I was screaming because just I've been waiting for her to say it, to think it, to do something about it this whole time. So I'm very excited. I love them. But I still don't trust that Harper isn't going to die. Like, I stopped at a chapter. Basically, I started reading the first page of this chapter, and it's Helene's perspective, and she's looking for Harper. And I have a feeling something's gonna be going on. They're gonna have like a good, happy moment, and then Saboteur is gonna be like, haha, you thought, and then just kill him off. Or maybe she'll kill Helene off. I still feel like Harper is not gonna make it. I don't know. I'm stressed. I've kind of had a prediction before I even started this book that we're gonna get like a happy moment between Helene and Harper, but then one of them's gonna end up dying. So I have a feeling that's what's gonna happen. But other than that, we also found out that the creature, djinn, person, magical thing that was inside of Laya, the voice that was like in her head, this creature that kind of kept coming out that she was seeing, was actually the wife of the Nightbringer. And I predicted that. I only predicted it like 20 pages before we were told that that was the case, but I still predicted it, so I win. So that is really interesting, and I have a feeling that's going to become like a really big thing in the finale, because this djinn that's not really a djinn anymore, the Nightbringer's old wife, was saying like, you can't use the scythe to kill him, like you have to do this another way. But Laya's like, nope, I'm killing him, and that's what's going on. And she's very stubborn about it, which is typical. But I have a feeling the advice that she shouldn't kill him with the scythe, and that like that's not how this needs to go, is going to become a big thing later on. But that's really the only prediction that I have for this book, and that's not even a prediction. I just know that that's probably going to come back into play. Like, that's my only guess. I think something that I've loved about not only this book but the whole series is that I've really had no idea what's been going on the whole time. I've never known where anything was going to go, where this direction of the story was going, what was going to end up happening. I've just been so shocked this whole series, and I have a feeling the ending of this is going to shock me as well. And I'm not prepared. I'm just gonna sob. I'm stressed. Even in Armin's letter, she said, if you finished Sky, sending big hugs, still crying about the ending. So I'm in trouble. But yeah, I actually think I'm going to try and finish this today. I keep saying like, I'm gonna read so much of it, and I haven't, but I think I have like 200 pages left, like I said, so I really want to try and finish it today. I think the reason it's taking me so long is, one, I'm annotating it, which does add a bit more time, but also the fact that I don't want it to end, and also I keep getting stressed, so I keep putting it down because I don't want to know what's going to happen. I'm so stressed. But I really want to finish it and hopefully finish it today. So I think I'm going to film another video, a journal video, and then just spend the day reading this and try and finish it. I only have 200 pages left, so I think I can do it. But I'm probably going to get stressed like 50 times throughout those last 200 pages and put it down 50 times. So we'll see, but that is the plan. So yeah, that is my update for now. I will check in with you guys once I've read a little bit more, and hopefully I'm not too emotionally distraught. So Livia just died? What? The Commandant came in and killed her. For some reason, even though I literally was expecting every single character in this book to die, I didn't even think about Livia. Like, I really didn't even think that that would be a possibility. So Saboteur better not kill Harper, because if she does, Helene will literally lose basically everybody that she loves and cares about. Can she do that to her? I mean, I'm scared. So she better not kill Harper, but I still don't trust that she's not going to. Is Helene literally going to lose everybody? I can't deal with that. I'm upset. I literally am in shock. I had to like take a walk around my house. I really was not expecting that at all. getting her perspective? What? What's happening? Okay, so I have finally finished A Sky Beyond the Storm, and I'm still emotional about it. So let's discuss. I know I haven't really talked much, or didn't talk much when I was reacting to kind of the ending of this book, but that's just because I couldn't stop reading. I just needed to keep going and know what was going to happen. But in case there was any question, I gave this 5 stars. I loved it so much. I think it's such a perfect conclusion to the series. I think so many things wrapped up perfectly and in ways that I didn't expect but still make so much sense. I also think that I used the amount of tabs that I used for like Torch and Reaper combined in this book. There's a lot of tabs in this book because I have a lot of feelings and a lot of thoughts. But some of the biggest things that I really wanted to talk about, the things that made me like sob. First, Harper. He died for real. I knew it was gonna happen. I literally said that she was killing him. It still was happening, even though she killed him and then brought him back and he was like, LOL JK, I'm fine. I still knew he wasn't going to make it. I just had this feeling where we were gonna get some serotonin, some joyful moments between Harper and Helene finally, and then she was gonna kill him off. Like, I knew that that was what was going to happen, and yet I still sobbed. Also, Darin, Laya's brother, also was killed, and I'm not, again, surprised about that at all. I feel like I could have seen that coming as well. I feel like I had this feeling like the series started with him, so I knew something was going to happen to him at the end of this book, and the whole series started because of him, so I just knew it was gonna kind of come full circle a little bit. But I think the frustrating thing about both of their deaths is like if they had just stayed out of it and not intervened, they would have been fine. Like Harper tried to help Helene, but she had it all under control. Well, obviously she maybe didn't have it under control because the Commandant was kind of trying to kill her, but like Helene, she's Helene, like she's fine. She had it under control. If he had just stayed out of it, the Commandant wouldn't have had an opportunity to kill him, and I think it still would have ended up being fine. So it's just frustrating because if he had just stayed out of it, he probably would have been alive. And also with Darin too, like if he didn't come to help Laya, even though she didn't need it, like obviously she was making bad decisions, but like that's not the point. The point is that he didn't need to be there. He didn't need to go to her, but he did, and it ended up costing him his whole life. So it's just like, they both were so stupid. But I'm so sad still. I knew it was gonna happen, and yet both of them made me sad. Also, the moment where I turned the page and it said Elias for the point of view for that chapter instead of the soul catcher, that was a lot to handle, and I don't think I filmed me reading that chapter, but the beginning of that chapter was rough. That's when I was like full on sobbing because Harper and Darin were in the waiting place and Elias was trying to help them go forward. And it was Elias that was kind of holding them, or at least Harper, back. And it's just like, that was too much. That was what was making me sob. And I don't think I filmed that because I was full on sobbing. I was like, I can't even turn on the camera right now because I'm unwell. It wasn't just like, oh, a little tear here and there. Like, I was full on like snotty last night. I don't know if that's TMI, but it wouldn't, my eyes and my nose would not stop leaking. But also Karis, is that how you say her name? I don't know, the commandant. She also died. She was killed by Laya's mom, who didn't die. We thought she was dead, but she didn't die. I honestly am not surprised that she came back. Well, okay, I was surprised, but then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, it makes sense because we didn't see her actually die. I feel like I've read too many books and watched too many movies and TV shows to know that unless you see somebody actually die, like with your own two eyes, they're not dead. So I'm not surprised that she came back, but I thought that that was a very like satisfying moment, seeing Laya kill the commandant. Like, I feel like that was just very satisfying. And then also with the Nightbringer, how Laya killing him is what made like the sea of suffering like actually come into the world and like almost wipe out everything. Like, that was a lot to handle, and I'm not surprised that Laya killing him was not the answer, because I kind of had a feeling that that was going to cause an issue, but Laya was stubborn and was determined. But that was a lot, and I think that whole chapter where the Nightbringer and Laya and the Nightbringer's old wife kind of were having that conversation and were trying to fix the problem, that was a lot. And I think Saboteur, Armin was telling me that Saboteur said chapter 67, which was that chapter, was one of the hardest chapters she's had to write, but it was so good. It was such a good chapter and a lot to handle. I was crying. I basically just cried on and off throughout the last like 100 pages of this book, I feel like. But yeah, I feel like all of the deaths weren't really surprising. Like, I feel like they were going to happen, but they still hurt my feelings. I was still emotional. And I'm just really happy that Helene, Elias, and Laya made it out. I think with all of the prophecies and stuff being about them, I think it made sense that none of them died, but I still didn't trust Saboteur. I was like, she could still kill one of them off. I really did not trust her. I really thought Elias was not going to make it out of this book. So I'm very happy that they all survived. But the thing is, like, they all survived, but they all have struggled so much. Like, I feel like it wasn't like a cheap ending, that the fact that they all survived, because they all suffered so much loss anyway. And like, Helene literally lost everybody. So that's terrible. And Laya and Elias, they have each other, which I'm so happy about, but they also went through a lot of loss in this series. And I just think, like, even though they all survived, they didn't get out of it easily, if that makes sense. But regardless, I'm happy all three of them made it out alive, because there was a time where I was not so sure. And Laya and Elias at the very end with the armband that he was making her, the armlet that he was making her, and how he like sketched in her family's names on the inside, and I just love them. I'm so happy. And like Elias being able to not be the soul catcher anymore because he passed it on to Laya's mom, I feel like that was so perfect. I feel like I wanted Elias to get out of that situation. I just really did not know how it was going to happen. I figured somebody would maybe end up taking his place, but I was trying to think like, who can take his place? Like, I was trying to think of all these different characters. I was like, who could take his place as the soul catcher? And when Laya's mom came back and then started talking about it, I was like, that's perfect. Like, it just came together so perfectly. So yeah, like I said, 5 stars. This was perfect. This might be my favorite book in the series. It made me feel so many things. I loved it so much. I'm very emotional by the fact that this is the final book and that it's over, but I think it was such a emotional but satisfying ending, and I think that that was something I was scared about, because I feel like sometimes the final books in series, they can either make or break the series, in my opinion. They can either be the best book in the series or the worst. So I'm very glad that this was a situation of it being really good and potentially like my favorite in the series. I loved it so much, and I'm so happy. I'm also very emotional, and I'm not doing well, but it's okay. So yeah, that was me reading A Sky Beyond the Storm. I would love to know if you've watched this video. I hope if you've made it this far into this video, you've at least read this book. But if you have made it to the end of this video and you read this book, I would love to know your thoughts. Obviously, in the comments, be careful about spoiling other people, so maybe just like write spoilers at the top of your comment if you're gonna talk about spoilers. But I would love to know all of your thoughts on this book. I feel like it was so good, and I want to know what other people think. But I think that that is going to complete this video and complete the Ember in the Ashes series. I'm emotional. I need to go like lay down and cry some more. I literally was crying on and off all last night after finishing it, so I think that might continue into today. But that is going to be it for this video, so don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you have not already. Also, don't forget to click the bell notification to be notified anytime I upload a new video. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.